This is Kirby James, third Dan black belt in Taekwondo and Hapkido, and welcome to Power Breaking for black belts in Taekwondo. Welcome, and here it is. This is the big episode. Out of all 5 that we're doing, this one has the most content. This one is the most complicated. And this is the one that if you watch it, it's great. If you practice what you see, that's wonderful. But make no mistake, your physical preparation, your mental preparation, and understanding what happens on your test day are just as important as what happens in this episode. Believe me, if you don't do the physical preparation in episode 2, and even with the proper technique, you could still hurt your hand. So come on, pay attention, do all of the work, not just some of it. We bring mechanics. These are mechanics based on engineering principles and physics principles. We are going to help you understand where's the right place to strike a stack of wood or a block of concrete. We're going to help you understand this complex sequence of motions, not so different from a golfer, a baseball player, or a hockey player who's trying to move a whole bunch of body parts all at the same time and yet has to come back to the exact spot where they want to make contact. Okay, here we go. Step number 1. Where do you hit the target? Okay, we got a test for you. You've got option A, the close edge. You've got option B, right in the middle. And you've got option C, the far edge. Okay, multiple choice exam time. Let's go. How many of you said we should hit B? And I'm willing to bet that most of you decided that B was the right place to hit. Let me help you understand why that is the wrong answer. If you picked option B, let's talk about what really happens here. Look at these photographs. These are people who aimed for target B, right in the middle of the board or the concrete. And what do we see happen? Well, sometimes they hit exactly where they aimed, and that's awesome. However, in the excitement of your test, something happens. And the thing that happens is that you tend to go with more power. And if you haven't practiced a lot, you're going to get slightly out of your technique. And as soon as you get out of your technique, what happens? You reach too far. And when you reach too far, this is unfortunately what can happen. I've seen a lot of people do this. Many of them walk away with no injury. I know personally myself, in my first Dan, you can see right here in the photograph, I went too deep. And what happens? I hit the bone past my hand, and it was sore for a long time. Don't want that to happen to you. How many of you said we should hit C? Wrong answer. If you picked A, that is where you want to strike the target. And the reason is because if you hit A, it's the best location to hit. And if you don't hit A and you go towards B in the middle, well, that's not so bad. But if you aim for B and you go to C, yeah, that's a bad place. So let me explain why location A is the best. It actually gets back to that equation I was showing you, force equals mass times acceleration. What you're doing here is you're putting all of the force now, when you hit B, you put it into a circle. But if you hit A, you put all the same amount of force or power into a half circle. And the half circle means you get more power in the same area, and you're more likely to break. So just think about that. And even if you miss hit, you have a slightly off day, and only like most of your power, but not all of your power comes to the target, what will happen? You are probably going to break because you put all of your power into a smaller space. Remember, location A is where you want to shoot. Location A is where you want to aim when you are going for your power break. As we teach power breaking, what we use a very simple setup station. And to help us do that, we use equipment that's available in the school. And included in that are our kicking shields. So, with the kicking shields, what we do is we stack them up on the floor, and it looks something like this. And what we do is we stack them up 3 high, because that's about the exact same height as a block that holds up your wood or concrete targets. Then what we do is we take one of the punching squares that we use and we set it down. And when you take this whole setup all together, it's about the exact same height as your target. And for us, the practice height is perfect. Well, this station that I just showed you is absolutely the heart of how to practice. The height is beautiful. It's soft enough that if you hit it with any power at all, you're not going to hurt yourself. And the beautiful thing is all of our schools have this equipment. So, how do we go about getting used to where you need to stand? Well, it's really, really simple. What we do is we have a black belt. Come on up and stand up. And what we're looking for is, number one, is where to put your foot. And your foot is going to be right here, just at the edge. Because where are you going to put your hand to break? Where's your ideal place to break? Is right on the back edge. And so your foot is right in line with where the hand is. The stance, as you can see, nice, solid front stance. Not too stretched out because you have to do a backswing. And so that's the key thing, is when you start practicing this, you can do it with cushions at home from the sofa. You can do it with pillows. You can do it with all kinds of things. But with this equipment from our schools, what it allows you to do is to set up a station that's very much like the one you're going to get for breaking and be able to practice just the simplest thing. Where do I stand? How do I stand? And where do I put my hand? And what we're looking for is a couple of simple things. In the last clip, I showed you where to put your foot and where to put your hand. Now, we're going to turn it this way, and what do you see? Now we're going to see the hand goes up, and we hold it right there. And what you can see in the line that I've drawn on the screen is that hand is going to come almost straight down, right to the target. I want to show you the importance of how you move. Yes, we've looked at the hand and how the hand has to go up and then come down. This time I want you to watch the shoulders. So as our black belt raises their hand up, freeze right there, look at their shoulders, look at the stripes on their shoulders, and they are turned and they're almost pointing right at the target. And then as she comes down and starts to go down, down, and lands, it's almost as if their shoulders have rotated all the way around. And in the photographs right here, look at these photographs. Here we have one black belt. Shoulders square, shoulders pointing, shoulders rotated. And again. And again. And again. Ladies and gentlemen, I have watched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of power breaks in Taekwondo, and I can tell you that this is the formula where you end up at the end like this, turned and rotated. You have unleashed your power in your core. So let's talk about this thing, angle. What is angle? Well, you know, the stairs that go down your house, you know, they're on an angle. Well, when it comes to breaking, what's the best angle? And actually, this is where math comes back again. Here's the equation. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that equation. It's going to hurt your brain. Look, when you come in at an angle, you reduce your power. It's just the math of it. It makes sense. When we go to a lake or a pond or a river and we try to skip rocks, the angle that we come in on at that shallow angle, that's why the rock skips, is because we haven't got enough power going in to sink into the water. Well, this is pretty much the same idea. We are looking to take your fist and bring it down, but there's an angle that matters. If you come in with your hand way back, like this, unless you bring your hand back up, you're going to come in at this angle. And when you come in at an angle like this, you reduce your power by as much as 30%. Think about that. We've talked about force equals mass times acceleration, and you immediately take away a third of your power just by the angle that you approach. And look at all these photos over the years of people who have done this. And most of them do not successfully break the first time. Many of them do not break the second time. This hurts your hand, and it's hard personally to do that. So what we want to help you do is understand something very simple. Being as straight up and down as possible. Given that our bodies don't like to work that way, being straight up and down is the thing that matters a lot. When you put that together with mass, moving your body up and down, and acceleration, making your hand go faster and faster and faster all the way to the target, now we're talking about a formula that will lead you to succeed. So we've got this idea of where do you hit, location A. We've got the idea of angle, as much up and down as possible. Now comes the tricky bit, and that's moving your mass so that you can try to put as much mass into your power break as possible. Look, I'm not going to kid you. This is the kind of thing you need to practice. There are several key parts to this. Part number one is your stance. It's like a front stance, but not a full front stance. Second, you need to move from your front stance-like position as tall as you can get. And then from going as tall as you can get, you need to come down, and not just to your original starting position. We need you to actually end up one knee on the floor so that you can drop all of that mass right through your hand, right on the target. And where's the target? A. And if you can do that, that is excellent. The movement of mass is the thing that can help you break even sometimes when you don't think you can. Mass is half of the force equation. You need to be able to get your mass moving up and moving down, coordinated with the movement of your hand. And finally, in our equation, force equals mass times acceleration, we come to acceleration. What is acceleration? Acceleration is not going fast. Acceleration is going faster, faster. I can explain the physics to you. Yeah, not the time, not the place. Look, the biggest thing with acceleration comes in. Flavor number one is as you move your mass up into the air, as you come back down, you want to drop as fast as you can, because then that gets your mass accelerating. We need to come up with another kind of acceleration because that's not enough. I have watched fantastic black belts and masters do just that. Straight up and straight down without much shoulder rotation. And what happens? They don't have much acceleration. You don't have much acceleration, and I'm sorry, you're not going to break the first time. So how do you get acceleration? And we have a way to show you that that's super, super easy. Every time you watch someone throw a baseball, every time you watch someone throw a football, you can see it all the time. And what is it? It's this movement. This movement right here. And what we do is we encourage you as you come to break is to lead with your elbow. Get your hand up high, but as you come towards your power break, your elbow comes first. Why? Well, think of a baseball pitcher. How does a baseball pitcher throw a baseball 100 miles an hour? Acceleration. If you've got two pitchers, they're the same mass and they move the same way with their mass, well, then what's the difference? The difference is all about acceleration. And acceleration is all about snapping your wrist, about letting your hand come out at the very last second. And it's that acceleration that we need.
The max of your elbow to be higher than your wrist. So that's one of the good things of doing it.
So what am I doing right now?
But if it goes past
like
that,
this.
that would be
You're
the same
scraping
as
it,
right?
The maximum.
Oh, that's why I
Yeah.
feel it.
You got the build.
You know how I was doing the trip hammer thing?
Yeah.
Right. So that's the impact, right? So the maximum angle is flat. If you go beyond that, there's no power.
So how do you do that? Well, you can accelerate just with your hand, but that's not even enough. What we also need to see is acceleration in your rotation. And now we put all the pieces together. The hand that's prepared. Your physical body that's ready. We take your proper position. Landmarking at location A. Now you're going to move your mass up. But as you move your mass up, you rotate your shoulders. You get your hand high and as much as possible straight above you. And then as we put it all together, you drop down. As you drop down, you twist. As you twist, you go elbow first. And as you go elbow first, you ultimately end up down on one knee just before the point of impact, and your fist will be coming out at 90 degrees with maximum force in the right spot. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the formula for successful power. The best lesson that you can take away from today is to use your phone, use your iPad or your tablet, record yourself as you do it, and compare yourself to what you see in the videos. In the several years that I've been training black belts in Taekwondo about power breaking, what I've observed is that there's a range of techniques that can work. Some people like to do the great big windmill. Some people like as simple as possible. Some people like flamboyant. Hey, it's not my place to say that one is right or wrong. All I'm looking to bring to you in this video series is observations about what I see work more often. If you can find another way, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know. The thing I think that really matters to me is that with all the training that we do to get to a black belt or beyond level is that part of the discipline of being a black belt is always understanding that you have more to learn. And if you always have more to learn, the same thing is true for power breaking. Every time that we teach it, my son, myself, instructor Bernard, every time we teach power breaking, we learn something new about the process of power breaking. Every test I go to, I see people break, and I sometimes see them break in ways I had never thought of. And to me, that's really exciting. Because the power break has become a little bit of a showcase event. I mean, let's face it, it's at the end, it's where there's the big cheers, it's the hype. You know, we're doing the patterns that we've sweated over for years and years, and it doesn't get quite the same response. Well, the purpose of this particular episode on mechanics, but the entire series, is to help you have more success and lower your chances of injury. So if you can find a better way to do this, good on you, because I think that's awesome. I think that truly shows, imagination and creativity, and I'm hugely about that. At the end of the day, my philosophy is this. We only ask you to do this once every dan of your journey through black belt. And since you don't do it very often, I use the keep it simple smart guy principle and try to hit that thing as hard as you can in the most simple, reproducible way, most likely to succeed and least likely to injure you. Thanks very much for watching. This is Kirby James, 3rd Dan black belt in Taekwondo and Hapkido from the Oriental Martial Arts College of Canada, saying thank you.